If you want to know how you can know if your career or your business is aligned with your soul and with your higher purpose, stay with me because that is exactly what we're going to go through in this video. You're probably someone who feels like you're meant for more, and there's a calling in your heart to help people with similar obstacles that you've overcome in your own life. And you might have already started your own coaching business or your own healing business, or at the very least, you've likely considered starting one. And you want to make a difference in the world, but sadly, you also likely doubt yourself, you doubt your path, and you keep wondering what would be the most aligned career or business for you. Because you don't just want to make money, you want to make money in an aligned way, in a way that is deeply fulfilling to you. So if you want to know how you can actually know if your career or your business is aligned with your soul and with your higher purpose, so that you can then make necessary changes to live a more soul-aligned life, stay with me because that is exactly what we're going to do in this video. And as someone who has started my own path more than I care to admit, and I've also been blessed to be able to help my clients align their paths with their soul's evolution and their purpose, I'm excited to dive deep into this with you so that you too can live a more aligned, fulfilled life and do work that deeply fulfills you. And if we've never met before, I'm so happy life has brought you here. My name is Nina, and I love helping heart-centered humans start their passion business and align their career with their purpose. So let's talk about how you can actually know if your current career or the current business you're pursuing is actually an aligned one for you. After having many human design readings with people where they felt so seen, and through human design we're able to understand when they're living in alignment and when something needs to shift, I really wanted to bring this information to you as well. And if you don't know what human design is, in short, it is a spiritual system that combines many different modalities such as astrology, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and quantum physics to help you understand yourself better so you can live the most aligned, fulfilling, abundant life in your career as well as in every other area of your life. So if you don't yet have your human design chart, I'll leave a link below so you can go and download yours for free. And by the way, human design is also an extremely good way to understand your loved ones or your coworkers or anyone in your life. So if you know your spouse's birth time, you can also check their chart and then learn to understand them better too. So without further ado, let's just get straight to it. So what I want you to look at from your chart is your type. So each type has its own signature emotional theme that tells them when they're living in alignment, and each type also has an emotional theme, which is called a not self theme, and that tells them when they're not living in alignment with their soul and something needs to shift. And this is really simple. So let's now go through each of the types and their signs of alignment and misalignment. But first, I just want to mention that even though I will probably be referring to your work, your career, and business in this context, the same still applies to everything in your life, whether it's your health, your relationship. So you can use this information with absolutely everything in your life. In human design, there are 5 types in total. So we have generators, manifesting generators, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors. Typically, generators and manifesting generators are considered very similar. And initially, they were one and the same type. And so their signature emotional themes are considered the same. So let's start with generators and manifesting generators. If either of these is your type, which is very likely because they make up about 70% of the population. And if this is you, then your signature theme that tells you that you are living in alignment is a feeling of satisfaction. So that might look like you feeling deeply satisfied with the work that you're doing and how you're spending your energy throughout the day. And oftentimes an aligned generator or manifesting generator is just really lit up by life. You're lit up by your work, and people can often feel when you are truly aligned. It's like this sense of this buzzing energy of excitement. And so when you are aligned, you likely have this overall sense of energy and satisfaction about your work, your business, or your life in general. And other people can most definitely feel it too. On the other hand, when you're not living in alignment, you will likely feel frustrated. So frustration is your not self theme that tells you that something needs to change. So in your work or your business, you might be feeling frustrated a little too often about what it is that you're doing, and your work doesn't necessarily give you a whole lot of satisfaction or fulfillment, if at all. And so you might be feeling very drained after a work day and exhausted and just burnt out at the end of the day. And you're very likely not getting up very eagerly the next day either. So there's just this sense of frustration and dissatisfaction with your work or your life. And so these are just some of the ways your not self theme of frustration might show up in your life. And it's just a sign that it might be a good idea to change something, either to change what it is that you're doing or how it is that you're doing it. Additionally, manifesting generators might also feel a sense of peace when you are in alignment, and then anger might come up for you guys when something needs to shift. If you are a generator or a manifesting generator, let me know in the comments if this resonated with you and what came up as you were listening to this. Then let's move on to our projectors. And so you guys make up about 20% of the population. And your signature emotional theme that tells you that you are living in alignment is a feeling of success. So you might feel successful in your business or your career or in life in general. You might feel recognized for the work that you do, and that you're deeply valued and appreciated for your guidance and what you can see differently from other people, instead of just simply being valued for all the things that you do for others. When you're not living in alignment, you will likely experience your not self theme, which is bitterness. So you might feel bitter and resentful in your work. You might feel underappreciated or undervalued, whether that's in work or in certain relationships. And you likely feel bitter for life not bringing you, any new invitations or opportunities. And these are just some of the ways that bitterness might show up in a projector's life, so that they would just pay attention to what needs to change. So if your type is a projector, let me know in the comments how this resonated with you. Next up, we have manifestors, and you guys make up about 10% of the population. And when you guys are living in alignment, you will likely feel a sense of peace. You might feel a sense of peace for the level of independence and autonomy you have in your life, or you might feel free to express yourself fully and authentically. And manifestors may also feel empowered to just be themselves and do life in their own way, in their own terms, instead of someone telling them what they should do. The sign of misalignment, the not self theme for manifestors, is anger. So when your career or any aspect of your life is not in alignment with your soul, you will likely experience the feeling of anger. And that might show up as feeling disempowered or lack of independence and control in your life. And there might be a sense of lack of freedom or flow in your life, or like you're being controlled or influenced too much by others. And these are just some of the ways that anger might show up when you're not living in alignment. So if your type is a manifestor, please tell me in the comments, how did this resonate with you? Did you recognize yourself from these? And finally, we have our reflectors, about 1% of the population. And for you guys, a sign of alignment is a sense of surprise. So this might show up as this sense of delight or wonder or awe, kind of like being in awe of life and how it's unfolding. You might feel good about the people and the places you're spending your days with. Similarly to projectors, you might feel valued for the way that you see things differently and for your guidance in your work or in your relationships. When you are out of alignment, your not self theme is disappointment. And this may look like feeling disappointed with just how life is unfolding, and like there isn't that sense of awe and wonder. And you might be spending time with people who don't really feel that good to you, or in places that don't feel expansive. You may feel like you're not allowing yourself to be the unicorn that you are, meaning express yourself in whatever way feels most alive for you at the present moment. You might also feel a need to put yourself in a box and define who it is that you are, when in reality it changes a lot day by day. So if you are a reflector, let me know in the comments, did you recognize yourself from this and what came up for you as you were listening? Before we wrap up, I want to mention one last thing, and that is, if you feel you're not self-theme on occasion, that's human. We all have a wide range of emotions, and that's just part of being human. So don't change everything right away or give up on your business dream if your not self-theme comes up occasionally. But if it becomes a pattern, then something needs to shift. But it's also important to know that even if you experience your not self-theme a little too often, it doesn't necessarily mean that your external circumstances need to shift, like your business, for example. Sometimes it's actually just the way in which you are operating that needs to change. And that's actually a really important thing to remember. So let me know in the comments, did you recognize yourself from these descriptions and what came up for you as you were listening to them? And if you'd like to get to know your unique chart and learn how to align your business, your career, and your life with your highest self, you can book a reading with me from below. And if you found this helpful and would like more videos like this in the future, subscribe to the channel and also click the bell icon so that you'll be notified whenever a new video is released. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again in the next one.